I am not very fond of the English subject, and whilst I could go on forever about things I dislike about it, there's one thing in particular that I cannot stand, namely, text analysis. You know, when you're given a word and you have to describe the effect it has on the reader. Sometimes it's necessary, but a lot of the time, especially when you enter secondary school, it's completely pointless. So anyway, let me go over the things I hate about text analysis. The connotations given to some things are so self-contradictory, it's laughable. For example, most of us were taught that the colour red represents blood and danger. However, the colour red also represents love and passion. What? Are you serious? Those are two completely separate things. They're like virtually polar opposites. So given that the colour red can go from I love you with all my heart to I'm gonna bloody murder you, simply by context, then why are we using this as a point of analysis in the first place? Another example is sibilance, which is when you put a lot of S sounds together. And sibilance can sound both evil and deceptive, like a snake, but also quiet and peaceful. Huh? How's this gonna help? Again, these are practically complete opposites. How's this gonna help us understand anything? Some of the things teachers look out for are outrageously specific. Half the things teachers put great emphasis on, I bet even the author didn't realise they did it. For example, in the poem The Man He Killed, there's a verse which goes, I killed the man because he was my foe. Just so, my foe of course he was, that's clear enough although. Now to anyone who's seeing the poem for the first time, I bet you're thinking that the double because here was just the author not knowing what to write and then putting it there in desperation, right? No, of course not. This is actually a product of great intellect. I'll have you known that this is actually an example of anadiplosis. Yes, they actually have a word for that. And apparently, the point of anadiplosis is to show hesitation, which sounds like an excuse from a 6-year-old, if I'm honest. And the thing is, you can't really complain because it makes perfect sense. But it only makes sense once someone makes sense of it for you. I'm telling you, right, the lad just ran out of ideas. It's not some literary ingenuity. Caesura kinda makes sense here, but anadiplosis is absolute cap. And to back up my previous point, if the author really was trying so hard to do what he claimed they were doing, then you wouldn't need to tell us that, would you? It would just be obvious. Look, the author's used a fronted adverbial to hook the reader and make them want to read on. Well, he hasn't done a good job of it because he hasn't managed to hook a single one of us. What an inspiring author. But in all seriousness, I don't think there should be as much stress on English as there is. Like, it's definitely necessary up until a certain point, but after that, it's just like, continue at your own risk. And even if it were necessary, I don't understand why they teach it to us like they do. Like, even if you could have convinced me that caesura and anadiplosis, and even bloody asymptotic listing and anachronism was actually intended to convey a message, and not just a result of personal preference or them trying to cover up a mistake, so what? The poem made perfect sense without us knowing these things. And even if it doesn't, these things don't help at all. So I don't see why there's such a big stress on all these irrelevant things, especially when all the things that are relevant are completely looked over. But anyway, that's the end of the video. And you may as well like and subscribe, because why not? For goodness sake.